Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. I'm Hasham Ali Khan. Last two videos I've explained you about the perquisites, meaning of perquisites and different types of perquisites. Perquisites which are taxable in the hands of all employees, and some perquisites are there which are taxable only in the hands of specified employees, and some are completely tax-free perquisites. All these things I have explained in the last two videos. So last video actually we have completed those perquisites which are taxable in the hands of all employees. But in this video I am going to explain you those perquisites which are taxable only in the hands of specified employees. Who are specified employees? Here I have given. So the specified employees are employee director. That means the company's director is there and also an employee. So normally one director will be an employee and director. He is called managing director. Similarly, employee shareholder. A person is an employee as well as a shareholder. And lastly, income from salary is more than 50,000 per annum. If any one of these three conditions are satisfied, then the person will be called as specified employee. And for specified employee, the following perquisites are taxable. Otherwise, these following perquisites are not taxable if the person is a non-specified employee, not satisfying any of these conditions. Then these perquisites are tax-free, right? So, which are the perquisites? And one more thing you remember, the provisions of these perquisites are same for the last year as well as current year. No change at all. So, even you can watch last year's video, or in this video also on the board it will be written assessment year 22-23. Don't get confused, don't be in panic. The same provisions are there last year as well as current year. So which are the perquisites which are taxable only in the hands of specified employees? First one, provision of car and other conveyances. Many a times the employer will give a car or any other conveyance to the employee. Then the perquisite is taxable only under specified cases. If no condition is satisfied, then the car provided is not taxable. That is a provision. And number of provisions are there regarding car. Secondly, provision of services of servants. If servant is provided by the employer to the employee for his domestic service, then the servant provided is also taxable perquisite. Supply of gas, electricity and water. Sometimes the employer will supply the gas or electricity or water from its own sources to the employees. It's a taxable perquisite. Educational facilities are provided and transport facilities allowed by transport organizations. So these are all the perquisites which are taxable only in specified cases. Now briefly I am explaining about the contents of this video. So if you want the perfect knowledge, watch the video till the end. I have explained in detail all these provisions. If a motor car or other conveyance for personal use of the employee or his family member is provided by the employer, then the perquisite is taxable for specified employees. So first point, when the car or any other conveyance is provided by the employee, by the employer to the employee or the family member, then that perquisite is taxable only for specified employees. If the employee owns the car and the expense of running maintenance are paid by the employer, then it is taxable perquisite for all employees. See here, the car is owned by the employee, not provided by the employer. It is owned by the employee, but the maintenance, repairs and running expenses, all these expenses are paid by the employer. In that case, Income Tax Act says it is a taxable perquisite in the hands of all employees, not only specified. For everyone it is taxable because the car is owned by the employee, right? Whatever expenditure employer incurred, that is the value of the perquisite. If the employer is owning the car or took a car on hire and has given to the employee for discharging his official duties, then the value of perquisite is nil. Sometimes a car will be given by the employer to the employee only for official duties, not for personal use. There is no benefit to the employee because employee is using employer's car only in discharging official duties. Perquisite value is nil. These are only few points, but a number of other points are also there. I have explained in this video. So watch the video till the end. So far I have completed those perquisites which are taxable for all employees. So 13 examples I have explained in the previous videos. Now in this video I am going to explain you about those perquisites which are taxable only in specified cases, not for everyone. Some conditions are given. If those conditions are satisfied, then only the following perquisites will be taxable, otherwise not. So in this video, in the next video, I'll cover up those perquisites which are completely tax-free. That will be the end of the topic perquisites. Then we'll do the problems. So you have to keep a rhythm of watching one video with another video. Because if you keep go on watching all the videos, then only you can be able to get the complete command on the topic of income tax. So if you have not watched the earlier videos, I suggest you go to the playlist of my channel, select the subject income tax for the assessment year 22-23. Watch all videos regarding perquisites, be perfect regarding the meaning, types, then you can proceed. So before going ahead, take the screenshot of the points which I have written on the board, then I'll explain every point. Now, perquisites and fringe benefits which are taxable only for specified employees. So who are called the specified employees? The value of the following perquisites become taxable perquisite only when the employees satisfy any one of the following three conditions. So Income Tax Act has given three conditions. If an assessee satisfy any one of the condition, then for that assessee, the following perquisites will be taxable, otherwise not. So what are the conditions? The first condition, employee director. If an employee of the company is there who is also the director, normally every director will not be employee. One of the director is called managing director. He is an employee as well as director. So for those assessee who is an employee and director, for them the following perquisite taxable. Secondly, employee shareholder. An employee of the company and also a shareholder of the company holding not less than 20% of the share capital. Then in that case, for them also the following perquisite will be taxable. For any employee whose income from salary is more than rupees 50,000 per annum. So if an employee whose income from salary exceeds 50,000 rupees per annum, then that employee is called specified employee. So these three are specified employees. For them, the following perquisites will be taxable. If conditions are not satisfied, then the following perquisites are completely exempted, not taxable at all. So if the employee is not satisfying any of the above three conditions, then the perquisite provided in this category become tax-free. The following are the perquisites and fringe benefits that are taxable in specified cases. So what are the perquisites? The perquisites are 5 perquisites I have specified here. First one, provision of car and other conveyances. So when a car is provided by the employer to the employee, it will become a taxable perquisite if any one of the conditions is satisfied. If the assessee is a specified employee, then only motor car is taxable. Secondly, provision of services of servants. Servants are provided by the employer to the employee for providing service, for giving service to the employees. Again, taxable perquisite for specified employees. Supply of gas, electricity and water. If the gas, electricity, water supplied by the employer to the employee free of cost, it will become a taxable perquisite for specified employees. Educational facilities. Some educational facilities are provided to the employee or their family members. Again, taxable for specified employees. Lastly, a transport facility allowed by transport organizations. If the employer is having a transport company, transport organization, and they are providing free transport facility to the employees, then it will become a taxable perquisite for specified employees. So these are the 5 perquisites which are taxable only for specified employee. Who is a specified employee? Employee director, employee shareholder, or an employee whose income from salary is more than 50,000 rupees per annum. That's it. Now one by one we'll discuss. First, provision of car or other conveyances. When an employer provides a motor car to the employee, provisions are given by the Income Tax Act regarding the value of the perquisite. First, we'll discuss about motor car. If a motor car or other conveyance for personal use of the employee or his family member is provided by the employer, then the perquisite is taxable for specified employees. Normally, it is seen in practice. Many a time, the employer will provide a motor car or any other conveyance facility to the employee or their family members. It is a taxable perquisite only if the SSC is a specified employee, otherwise not. Then the valuation of perquisite in different situations are as follows. When motor car is given, there are different situations. Each one we'll discuss. First one, if the employee owns the car and all expense of running and maintenance are paid by the employer, then it becomes a taxable to all employees as it is an obligation of the employee met by the employer. Suppose the motor car is owned by the employee, not employer. Employer has not given the motor car. Employee is owning the motor car. But all the maintenance expenses, petrol expenses, and all the expenses of the motor car are paid by the employer. It is called the obligation, personal obligation of the employee met by the employer. It is a taxable perquisite for all employees, not only specified, everyone. Because the motor car is not provided by the employer. Motor car is owned by the employee, but all expenses are paid by the employer. So in this case, whatever expenditure paid by the employer is the value of the perquisite in the hands of employee. First case over. Second case, motor car is owned or hired by the employer and the car is used by the employee for official purpose. Example, you are the employee. The employer, the company has given you motor car. The motor car will be used only for official purpose. You are not getting any personal benefit from motor car. You are using the motor car only for business purpose, for official purpose. Income Tax Act says no perquisite at all. Whatever expenditure paid by the employer is for the business, no benefit. So the value of the perquisite is nil. Third, if the motor car is owned or hired by the employer and the employee is using the car for personal use only. Now remember, the motor car is owned by the employer or hired by the employer. And this motor car is given to the employee only for personal use, not for business. That means the employee is enjoying the motor car. All expenditure is paid by the company, by the employer. In that case, what is the value of the perquisite? Then the value of the perquisite is actual amount of expenditure paid by the employer for running and maintenance. First of all, during the previous year, how much expenditure paid by the employer on running and maintenance of the car, plus driver's salary. If driver's salary is also paid by the employer, that will also be added, plus 10% on cost depreciation. Depreciation on motor car at the rate of 10% on cost. These 3 items will be added and that will be the perquisite value. When? If the motor car is owned or hired by the employer and this motor car is given to the employee only for personal use. Only for personal use. Then expenditure paid by the employer plus driver's salary if paid by the employer plus 10% depreciation on cost. This is the value of the perquisite. Next, note, if the car is hired and instead of depreciation, actual hire charges paid by the employer is taken. In this situation, if the motor car is not owned by the employer but hired one, in that case, instead of depreciation, we take the hire charges paid by the employer. Then we'll get the value of the perquisite. Now, next case. If the car is owned or hired by the employer and the employee is using the car partly for official and partly for personal use, this is very important. Normally, a motor car will be owned or hired by the employer, and this motor car is given to the employee for both purpose, official as well as personal. You are the employee, I am the employer. I have provided you a car. You have to use the car for your personal, and also you have to use the same car for official. Partly personal, partly official. In that case, what is the value of the perquisite? Income Tax Act has given the rules regarding the value. When the expense of personal use are paid or reimbursed by the employer, that means all expenses are paid by the employer, whether the car is used for personal or business. The complete expenditure on car is paid by the employer. In that case, if it is a small car, 1800 per month is the value of the perquisite. If it is a big car, 2400 per month. Remember, what is big car, what is small car, I will explain you later, right now. But presently you remember, if a motor car which is owned or hired by the employer and given to the employee for both purpose, personal, official, and all expenses are paid by the employer. If it is a small car, 1800 per month is the value of the perquisite. If it is a big car, 2400 is the per month is the value of the perquisite. Now next case. When expenses for personal use are paid by the employee. Employer has given the car to the employee, but condition that whenever car is used for your personal purpose, you pay all the expenses. Employee is paying all the personal use expenses. When expenses are when it is used for official purpose, it will be paid by the employer. But when the car is used for personal purpose, employee himself should pay the expense. In that case, the value of the perquisite is small car 600 per month and big car 900 per month. So simply, you have to remember this provision. This will not be given in the problem. While doing the problem, you must remember what are the value of the perquisites for small car, big car. So, if a car is provided both for personal and official purpose, all expenses are paid by the employer. Small car 1800, big car 2400. If a car is provided for both personal and official purpose, but personal use expenses are paid by employee only, in that case, small car 600, big car 900. Note, if employer pays drivers or chauffeur salary, then rupees 900 per month to the car value will be added. The actual salary paid to the driver is not to be considered. Sometimes the employer has provided the car along with chauffeur. Chauffeur means driver. Driver is also provided. In that case, whatever value of perquisite you will get for car value, to that car value you add up the driver's wages. That is fixed, given by Income Tax Act, 900 rupees per month. Actual salary paid to the driver should be ignored, should not be considered. Next, if the cc, cubic centimeter, if the cubic cc of the engine of the car is less than 1.6 liters or 1600 cc, then it will be treated as small car. We want what is the specification for small car and big car. If the cc is less than 1.6 liters or 1600 cc, then we have to consider it as a small car. If the cc of the engine is more than 1600, then we have to treat the car as a big car. Keep it in mind. When doing the problem, you will be given in the problem that the engine power is less than 1600. Immediately you should think it is a small car. If it is given in the problem, the engine power is more than 1600 cc, it's a big car. Accordingly, you have to apply the provisions. Now, the engine capacity of the car is also expressed in terms of HP. Sometimes engine power is given in cc, sometimes engine power is given in HP, horsepower. So, if HP is given, you have to see that up to 16 HP is categorized as a small car. If the engine capacity of the car is less than 16 HP, it is called a small car. More than 16 HP, it is called a big car. Now, employees owning the car and expenses incurred for using the car for official purpose are paid or reimbursed by the employer. See carefully. Employee is owning the car and expense incurred for using the car for official are paid or reimbursed by the employer. In that case, what is the value of the perquisite? Value of perquisite is nil, because no benefit is getting. You are the employee, you are owning the car and you are using the car for office purpose, and whatever expenditure incurred for official purpose is being paid by the employer. So what benefit you are getting? You are not getting. So the value of the perquisite is nil. Then if the car is owned or hired by the employer and the employee is using the car, free transport facility between residence and office is a tax-free perquisite. Sometimes employer will provide a free transport facility for going from residence to place of work and back. It is a tax-free perquisite. When the employer is providing any other mode of conveyance like two-wheeler, etc., it is used for official purpose, perquisite value is nil. Apart from motor car, other conveyance like two-wheeler, motorcycle, if it is provided by the employer to the employee for official purpose and all expenses are paid by the employer, no benefit, value of the perquisite is nil. When the employer is providing two-wheeler, it is used for personal purpose. If motor car is provided by the employer for personal use, in that case, what is the value of the perquisite? CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes, have not given any specific rule for finding out the value of the perquisite if two-wheeler is provided. But normal circumstances will take whatever expenditure paid by the employer plus 10% depreciation. That will be the value of the perquisite if two-wheeler are provided. Then providing for car at concession. Sometimes the employer has provided the car at a concession. So that means some amount is paid by the employee to the employer. In that case, what is the value of the perquisite? First, we treat that no amount is charged, freely motor car is given, and we calculate the value of the perquisite. From that value, deduct the amount paid by the employee to the employer. We will get the concession. That is the value of the perquisite. That's all. So these are the provisions you have to remember regarding motor car. Remember, motor car is a taxable perquisite only for specified employees. Next one, provision of service of servants. Sometimes servants are provided by the employer to the employee for giving service at his home. Like watchman is there, gardener is there. So these are the servants which are provided, not cook. If the employer provides the services of servants like sweeper, gardener, watchman and personal attendants and exclude any other servants like cook, etc. to the employee or family member, then it is a taxable perquisite. The employer has provided a servant in the form of sweeper or gardener or watchman, and these people are giving the service to the employees other than cook. If these services are given by the employer to the employee, then it is a taxable perquisite in the hands of specified employees. Now, supply of gas, electricity, and one point you remember here, if the servants are appointed by the employee himself and salary paid by the employer, in that case it is a taxable perquisite for all employees. It's a personal obligation of the employee met by the employer. That means here it will be there only if it is appointed by the employer and provided to the employee. Then it is taxable specified. Now, supply of gas, electricity and water. If the employer is providing gas, electricity and water free of cost to the employee, then it becomes a taxable perquisite. The value of the perquisite is the amount paid by the employer. Free gas, electricity, water which is supplied by the employer to the employee without any charges, it is taxable perquisite. But remember one point. If the connection of gas, electricity, water is in the name of the employee and employer pays the bill, then it will become a taxable perquisite for everybody, for all employees, because it's a personal obligation of the employee met by the employer. But here what is the case? It is in the name of the employer. Gas, electricity, water is in the name of the employer. Employer is buying and supplying it free to the employee. Then it is taxable only for specified employees. Now, educational facilities. Regarding educational facilities, if the employer pays or reimburses fees for the study of employee, then it becomes tax-free perquisite. The employee is studying some course and all the course fee is paid by the employer because the employee is getting the knowledge, the employee is getting the training, so benefit is to the business. So expenditure paid for course of the employee, that is a tax-free perquisite to the employee. Cost of refresher courses attended by the employees and payment made by the employer and amount spent on training also tax-free. Remember, refresher courses, sometimes the employer will send the employee to attend the refresher courses or training, and expenditure will be paid by the employer on this refresher course or training. It's a tax-free perquisite in the hands of the employee. When employer provides educational facilities to the member of the family, employee's family, either free of cost or at concessional rate, it becomes a taxable perquisite. Sometimes educational facilities are given. Suppose school is maintained by the employer where free of cost education is provided to the employee's children, or education is provided to employee's children at a concessional cost. In that case, it is a taxable perquisite for specified employees. Lastly, transport facility provided by transport organizations. There are many transport companies which provide transport facilities free of cost to the employees. It will become taxable perquisite, except railways and airlines. For railways and airlines, the free transport facility given to the employees is a tax-free perquisite. So apart from railways and airlines, the other roadways and seaways, there are many companies which provide facility on road, on sea. In that case, free transport facility provided to the employee is a taxable perquisite in specified cases. That's all. So in this video, I have explained you about those perquisites which are taxable only in specified cases. The specified cases are employee director, employee shareholder, or any employee whose salary is more than 50,000 per annum. For them, these 5 perquisites are taxable. In examination, frequently a question will be asked regarding motor car. So give more concentration on the provisions of motor car. That's all. So inshallah, next video I am going to explain you about those perquisites which are completely tax-free. In examination, you may get a question, give some 10 examples of perquisites which are completely tax-free, no tax. That I am going to explain in the next video. So if you are satisfied with my lecture, give a like to the video, share my channel, give your comments, subscribe my channel if you have not yet subscribed, and buy the super thanks which is given below my video. Inshallah, we'll continue in the next video.